NWA United States Tag Team Championship. The NWA United States Tag Team Championship is a name used for several secondary tag team championships used by various National Wrestling Alliance (NWA) members since 1958. At least 10 different versions of the NWA United States Tag Team Championships have been promoted in various regions across the United States, starting with the Capital Wrestling Corporation version in 1958 to the NWA Smokey Mountain Wrestling version that is active today. The NWA bylaws allowed any NWA member, also known as NWA territories, to create and control their own version of the NWA United States Tag Team Championship. The most well-known version of the NWA United States Tag Team Championship was the Jim Crockett Promotions version that later became known as the WCW United States Tag Team Championship. As it is a professional wrestling championship, it is not won or lost competitively but instead by the decision of the bookers of a wrestling promotion. The title is awarded after the chosen team wins a match to maintain the illusion that professional wrestling is a competitive sport. Championship history. The National Wrestling Alliance (NWA) was founded in 1948 after 6 professional wrestling promoters decided to join together and form a governing body to oversee the various members, later referred to as the NWA territories. The NWA Board of Directors agreed to all recognize one overall NWA World Heavyweight Championship and one NWA World Junior Heavyweight Championship across all promotions. Beyond those 2 championships, the board allowed each promotion to create and promote whatever championship they wanted to. In 1949, the first of many NWA World Tag Team Championships was created in the Los Angeles territory. In the 1950s, tag team wrestling became more popular across the U.S., which led to the introduction of various second-tier championships promoted locally as the American Tag Team Championship or the National Tag Team Championship. In 1950, the Midwest Wrestling Association, the NWA member promoting in and around Ohio, introducing Jack Kennedy and Lucky Simonovich as the American Tag Team Championship, only to later build the same championship as both the National Tag Team Championship and the United States Tag Team Championship between 1950 and 19. In 1958, Capital Wrestling Corporation (CWC) out of New York introduced their own NWA United States Tag Team Championship when Mark Lewin and Don Curtis defeated Hans Schmidt and Dick the Bear. In 1953, the CWC version was renamed the WWF United States Tag Team Championship when the Capital Wrestling Corporation was rebranded as the Worldwide Wrestling Federation. A third U.S. Tag Team Championship was introduced in Florida in 1961 as Championship Wrestling from Florida. CWF introduced the Florida version of the U.S. Tag Team Championship. The Fabulous Kangaroos El Costello and Roy Heffernan were the first Florida-based U.S. Tag Team Champions, as they were awarded the championship prior to their debut in the territory. The Florida version of the championship was the longest promoted U.S. championship, as it was actively promoted from 1961 until 1986, where the CWF promotion closed. In 1962, 2 additional versions of the championship were introduced: the NWA Mid-America version and the NWA Tri-State version. The Mid-America version was created by promoter Nick Gillis and defended in the Tennessee/Alabama promotion NWA Mid-America, starting with the Japanese duo of Yoshino Sato and Taru Sakura being billed as champions when they arrived in NWA Mid-America. There were at least 34 different reigns in the history of the championship, ending with the Bicentennial Kings, Phil Hickerson and Dennis Condrey as champions in 1976, where the championship was abandoned. The Tri-Star version was created by promoters Leroy McGurk, Jack Curtis and Aurelian Smith and promoted in the NWA Tri-State territory that covered Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Louisiana. Jan Madrid and Louis Tillett are credited with being the first champions, but records are unclear on how they became champions. In 1980, the championship was renamed the NWA Tri-State Tag Team Championship, and then abandoned in 1981 when McGurk sold his promotion to Bill Watts, becoming Mid-South Wrestling. The Dirty Daltons, Jack Dalton and Jim Dalton, were the first Gulf Coast U.S. Tag Team Champions when Gulf Coast Championship Wrestling (GCCW) introduced it on April 15, 1974. Then reigning champions Bob Kelly and Rocket Monroe lost the Gulf Coast version to the then reigning NWA Tri-State United States Tag Team Champions Bob Sweetin and Siegfried Stank to unify them. The following year, in 1967, the championship was renamed the NWA American Tag Team Championship instead, and would later become the World Class Championship Wrestling World Tag Team Championship. In 1986, the Charlotte, North Carolina-based Jim Crockett Promotions began expanding their territory as it absorbed several NWA territories that had been struggling financially. As part of the expansion, JCP introduced their version of the U.S. Tag Team Championship, holding a 10-team tag team tournament. Crusher Khrushchev and Ivan Koloff defeated the Kansas Jayhawks, Dutch Mantell and Bobby Jaggers to become the inaugural champions. Later, JCP would be sold to Ted Turner and become known as World Championship Wrestling, which led to the championship being given the WCW prefix. By the late 1980s, the NWA was no longer the powerful organization it had been between 1948 and the mid-1980s, becoming a conglomerate of smaller promotions. In 1996, NWA Jersey introduced their NWA United States Tag Team Championship, when Yar and Wolf, also known as the Lost Boys, won a three-way match for the new championship. The last recorded defense of the New Jersey version happened in 2000. In 2014, NWA Southern All-Star Wrestling introduced the most recent NWA U.S. Tag Team Championship that was defended in and around the Tennessee area. It would later also be promoted by NWA Smokey Mountain Wrestling. The first champions were the Lords of Cows, Damian Wayne and Lance Erickson, who won the championship by defeating Jason Kincaid and Charles Alexander in the finals of a tournament. List of NWA United States Tag Team Championships.